Alright everybody, welcome back to another video after a little break. I hope everyone had a great Rosh Hashanah. Whoever was an Uman, I hope you had a good time. If you were not an Uman, I hope you had a good time. I was not an Uman, and we were in Tzfat, and we had a nice little minyan, Rebbe Nachman style. Rosh Hashanah, we try to do our best to do like the kibbutz, and hopefully next year things will be better, or we could even go during the year also. Soon the border will open back up. But anyway, today is Tuesday, September 22nd, and we missed Sunday's video, which is usually Siach Sarfei Kodesh, and I missed a few videos last week also. So today we're just going to do some Siach Sarfei Kodesh, which again is the Breslov sefer on Rebbe Nachman's life and stories and things like that. Just trying to find the best place to actually hold the sefer. And we're in the middle of Chelik Beis, and we're in a little section over here where Rebbe tells over a few stories that we've already seen in the end of Spur Maisius and others farm. But anyway, this is called the Sipur, the story of Kaptzen Pasha. The name is called Kaptzen Pasha. And Rabbeinu told the story over, and the Chassidim were noig to tell the story sometimes at a bris milah. They tell the story over. And this is the story. They said that there was this king who had a Jewish sar, who had a Jewish member of his team, whatever, cabinet member. And this king liked him a lot. The king liked this Jewish sar more than he liked the other sarim of the cabinets who were not Jewish. And he gave him so much honor that all the other members got jealous of him. And in these other cabinet members, there was a Sar Rasha that was so angry about this Jew that he decided that he wanted to kill this Jew. And he tricked him, and the way he was going to do it was that he came in a tricky way to the Jew, and he said to him, "I spoke to the king, and the king told me that he loves talking to you, but it's very hard for him to talk to you because you have very, very bad breath. So I advise you that whenever you come to speak to the king, you should come with a mitpachat, a little cloth with some perfume, besamim, that's like in the cloth already, that gives a good smell, so that when you speak to the king, and you talk through the cloth, so then it will be a nice smell for the king." So that's what he told the Jew. And then the Sar Rasha came to the Melech, and he said to him, "I just spoke to the Jewish Sar, the Jewish member, and this Jewish member told me that he loves talking to the king, but it's also very hard for him to talk to the king because the king has bad breath. So the Jew decided that when he's going to start talking to you, he's going to come with a mitpachat with besamim on it, so that you shouldn't smell the bad breath of the king." So he tricked him. And the king got very, very angry. And he said to the Sar, "If it's true, then I will kill the Sar Yehudi. Then I will kill him." And the next day, when the Jew came to the king, like regular, to talk to him, he had this mitpachat with this besamim. And when the king saw that the Sar was right, that this Jew was doing this thing, he was very angry. And he went and he gave the Jew a letter, a signed letter, and you should go to this and this place, because the king had a certain place, a makom miyuchad, a special place, that they would kill anybody who came there with this letter. And this place was very, very secret and hidden, and nobody knew where it was, right? And in this letter, the king would not write anything, right? It would just be a signed thing from the king, and the guy who was in charge of the secret place would just kill the dude on the spot, and that's it. So this Jew didn't know what was going on. he just thought he was going over to give a letter. A different Jew was coming towards him and bothering him a lot that he has to come to make the bris. What's it called? I think he was a mile. So he said, "Come, you need to give my son a bris." And this Sar Yehudi was very zar in this mitzvah. He was always careful to do this mitzvah. And he went to the Sar HaRasha, and he said to him, "Listen, I have this letter from the king to give in this place, but I have to go somewhere to do a bris, so maybe you'll do it." So the Sar said, "Of course, give me the michtav, and I'll go over to this place." Right? Because he did this on purpose because he wanted to again go back to the king later and say, "Oh, look how he doesn't even treat your commandments good, you told him to go bring this letter over, and then he gives it to me, and because he wants to go do a bris milah." And he went to this place, and when he came to this place, they grabbed him and they killed him right away because they saw that he was holding this letter from the king that says he should kill him. Because they had no idea what this place is. Only the king knows. The next day, the Jew came again to the king, Im Hamit Pachas Biyadai, and the king was very nispal on this because he had sent him to be killed. And the king asked him, "What'd you do with this michtav?" And the Jew told him the story with the bris milah. And the king was very nishtoimim. He was like, "Whoa, that's crazy." And he asked him, "Why did you come with me with this mitpachat?" And the Jew told him the divrei asar that the king's was bothered by my bad breath, so that's what I did. And then the king realized what happened, that this Sar tricked him and everything. And the king said to the Jew, "Now I see that your God watches over you. He's the master of the whole world, and he punishes evil people." And that's the story of Kaptzen Pasha. And I think the Indian probably tell it over by the bris because of he was saved by giving a bris. Sipur Rabbeinu told over a mashal about the Indian of somebody who needs to serve Hashem with Mesiras Nefesh. Even though he seems like to the rest of the world like he's a meshuga, like Chazal say in Sanhedrin, Tzadik Zayin, on the pasuk, "V'sar meira mishtoilo." Someone who wants to separate himself from evil is going to seem like a crazy person. At one time, this king. This is a story. This is the mashal. One time, a king dreamed. This is a story of the tainted wheat. It's also in the back of Spermaisis. Shepam chol hamelech echad. One time, a king dreamed. Shekol tvua shetzamcha b'medinosai hiskalkala. This king dreamed that all the wheat in his country was like destroyed or damaged, and whoever ate from it would become meshuga right away. He would go crazy. And when he woke up, he took advice with the Mishnah Lamelech, with his whatever advisor, to what to do. And his advisor said to the king, right, that we do not have a choice but to eat from this tvua, because we don't have anything else to eat. He said that because why? Because to make new tvua for everybody in the Medina is impossible now, because everything's already growing. And and if we grow new wheat and only we eat it. Hold on a second. If we eat the normal wheat, then we'll be normal, but we're also going to appear like mishugayim to the people who do eat the crazy wheat, right? Because we're going to be different than everybody else. Alkain, we have to eat this wheat. However, but we should make for our signs ourselves a sign that we should know that we are crazy. And the king did not agree with this at all. And the king said to him, because the Bnei Medina are going to be crazy, that the people in the country are going to be crazy, that we also have to be crazy? To do something crazy like this, to eat crazy wheat? Loy v'loy. Anu negor me'atvua me'habria, we'll take from the healthy tua, we'll grow a healthy tua, healthy wheat. V'noichal oisa, and we will eat that. And if we appear normal but also crazy now to the people who are going to be crazier, so who cares? We'll just eat. We like, that's the reason why we should eat this crazy wheat? No. So the king was in disagreement. So what is the moral of the story? In the same way with avodas Hashem, right? If the regular people in the country are misnagim shloik haygin, and they're all running after kavod and mammon, hamiduma, ve'enav chayshim al yameim u'shenoseim aparkim v'ervin level, and they don't think about their days and the time that they're wasting. Should we also be like them just because that's the regular way? Lo, we should not. We should take a new path, a new wheat, which is tired and tefillah kedishilon koyach gvura la'amay keneged hargelim hamishugayos. Wow. I think that I read something like a week ago or 2 weeks ago about this wheat thing that used to happen back then, in their times, a long time ago, in the olden days, in the Shan Kadmanias of this world, that there was like this mold that used to grow on wheat back then. They didn't know what it was, and they used to eat the wheat, and they would have crazy hallucinations, and they would dance, and just the whole place would become mamish mishugayim. So I think that's what Rabbeinu was talking about. I think that's mentioned in, now that I'm thinking about it, in the English version of Sipur Maisa. I think that it's mentioned there, or it's talking about like LSD or something. But yeah, something definitely is wild with this grain story. Anyway, another story. There was a story of a king who went out with all his palace to trap deer. And he went after a deer, and he was not able to catch him at all. So they went out to hunt deer, and he was trying to catch this one deer and hunt him, and he wasn't able to get him at all. And his servants and everybody else gave up already, and they said, let's go home already. And the king said, no way. He says, V'amar ani im loy atzur es atzvi chayai einu neichmi. Ani chayav utzudo. And the king was very adamant. He said, you guys can go back, but I have to trap him. B'chein erdoif achroiv achet she'et v'seu. And I'm going to go after him until I catch him. U'misha v'retzon elachser shiachser. And it's just a little random story, and it's actually in the Sipur Maisa. It just says that's it. That the king went out to catch the deer, and the guy said, "Let's go back." And the king said, "No, I have to catch the deer," and that's the whole story. But here they add on that Rabbeinu said this story le'inyan in regards to the Maimer of Abba Shol in Likutei Imran Seminonei Shamar Utzvi Lo Higati Hanemer le'inyan Eretz Shol Shi Tzvi L'Chol L'Mochos Ayin Sham. So there's obviously some deeper avoidance going on, but also it could be also just a simple mashal that, like, the people give up, but Rabbeinu says in Shemiyish, you have to keep on going and not give up, no matter how hard it is to catch the deer, whatever the deer represents, but you always have to go after it. Alright, here we're gonna go. I think this is gonna be the last story. 2 more things and that's it. Sipur Rabbeinu told the story mashal in shtus ha'olam hazeh, in regards to the shtus of this world. That everybody in the world works for their parnasa, and only because of that, and it seems to them that only because of their work that they live on and have money. Be'emes, the truth is that their parnasa comes all from Hashem. How do we see this? Because he tells the story over. He says that one time in the binyan, there was this one building, and two rich guys lived in this building. One was a Kaptzen Gadol, and one used to bring in a lot of guests. One didn't spend a penny, he didn't have any guests, and one had a lot of guests, and he used to give a lot of tzedakah. So one time, this ani came to the Kaptzen, and he asked him for a little donation, a little money, so that he could buy some food. And this Kaptzen rich guy said to him, "Here, I have some wood over here that needs to be chopped up. If you can chop them up, I'll give you a lot of food." So this ani didn't have a choice. He was hungry. He did it. And when he went to this avodah, and when he finished his avodah, the usher turned this rich Kaptzen guy, sent him to his neighbor, who was the kind rich man who gave loud tzedakah, and he told him, "Go over there and they'll give you food." And the ani went with his simpleness to the Beis Hachnosorchim, right? Because he thought that this usher, this Kaptzen, also owned this Hachnosorchim, whatever he was sending him, right? That he's paying for his food. And when he went there, this other usher, Baal Tzedakah, came to him, B'chavod Gadol, and he gave him to eat and everything. And this ani was very happy now. Fine. And now he's eating, and this rich Machnes Orchim, the kind rich man who brings in guests, heard how the ani was groaning and sighing during eating, and he was saying, I worked so hard today. And this kind rich man asked him about what work he did, and he said that he worked by this other usher, Hashachen, the neighbor, and he chopped wood, and he sent him here to eat. And the Machnes Oirach said to him, "Rabbi Yehudi, you worked for free, and now you're going to eat for free." Meaning that this guy tricked him into working for him, and he just sent him to his neighbor who would feed him. But that's also the same case. He's like, you work for free, and you'll eat for free. Hashem will give you what you need. You just, do your ishtadlus, and Bezrat Hashem will send. One time Rabbeinu said, Parnasa noisin HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem gives Parnasa, and the world eats for free, but they work only because of their sins. Alright. Let's just finish this page over here. Now it's going over here about little Torahs. Alright, this is going to be wild for the next few weeks. Let me get to Seder and Siyasai. I'm just going through the sefer. Sorry guys, I'm just being whatever over here. It says over here, the question that Rabbeinu asked after he said over the Torah, Koras Yeshua, in the Kutim Ran Siman Vav, right? They were sitting on Motzei Shabbos, I think in El. This story goes in the Chaim Ran, and they were sitting there, and Rabbeinu said this Torah, Koras Yeshua, the Tshuva, what's it called? What's the story called? What's the Torah that we have? It's all about tshuva and ekya, asher ekya, and all these different deep inyanim with the thing. And he asked the people there, after he said this Torah, that were sitting around, who daven with the Siddur Arizal. He said to them, Toimru li, tell me how this whole entire Torah, how all the kavanas of El, that which he says in this Torah of Torah Vav, right? How are they incorporated in the kavanas of the Arizal? And they didn't know, and he showed them after. Kim super b'sefer Chaim Ran Sin Beis Ikar she'osa hoysel Rabbi Yudel. And here in Siach Sarfei Kodesh, now we learn that the main question that he asked was to Rabbi Yudel, who would daven with the kavanas in the Siddur Arizal. And the last piece on today, this old zach over here. It says, when Rabbeinu revealed the Torah, Emtsuosa da Alma Heicha Shebel Likutim Ran Simil Chavdal, which is a very deep Torah, his face was burning and shining so much until he covered his face with a mitpachat. And from the side that he didn't cover, we saw that his face was shining like a burning fire, mamish. That's the end of today's video, and we will continue next week. or maybe not, because next week is Erev Yom Kippur, but we'll keep on trying to make as many videos as we can over the next, few weeks. The schedules are all different for everybody, but Yontif and everything should be good. L'chaim, l'chaim.